we'll be talking about the Thypoch Simera 28mm. You see it right here on my Leica M11. I've been adapting this lens to the Fujifilm XT5, my Hasselblad camera, so there's a lot to say here. I absolutely love this new series by Thypoch, and I have a lot to say, so let's get into it here. Thypoch is a sister company to DZO, and I love that they decided to make this line. So this is the Thypoch Simera 28mm f1.4. So as you guys can see, not only does this look and feel like a vintage film lens, the images that you get out of it actually look and feel like a film lens as well. But the twist is, this is all modern optics. So this is what I love about the Simera line, because they're basically vintage house lenses, but with modern optics. So you're gonna get modern sharpness, modern contrast, modern flare control, but you get all the juice that comes from vintage lens designs. That's what is really special about vintage lenses, is the way they design the elements, laid out the elements. They're a little bit more simple, and so you get a little bit more character and juice out of those type of designs. So again, we're basically in the best of both worlds in my own opinion, because I love the vintage look. I don't want it to be too distracting, but I want it to be tasteful and make it feel like it's more magical than real life. That's my whole goal with photography and filmmaking. Anyway, so what I don't like about this, there's only one thing, but it's a really annoying thing. That's the infinity lock right here. So everything I just said about this being like a vintage, a vintage inspired lens, this infinity lock comes from also vintage lenses. And basically what it does is when you go into infinity, this little lock right here locks in. There's a couple of reasons that they do this. I think the main reason is when you're putting onto an M-mount body like this, there's not a whole lot to grab on on the lens here. Let's take the infinity lock off. So the infinity lock is off. So I'm just gonna go and twist it, and you can see the whole focus ring had a spin. So when the infinity lock is on, you could take it on and off, and it's locked in there. So it just makes it a little bit easier. But in reality, even if that focus lock wasn't on, again, I could just hold a different part of the lens and it goes, with some rings on it and stuff spin, but it's fine. But where this comes to be really annoying, when you're trying to focus to infinity or a little bit just in front of infinity, it can kind of start being an issue, because you can see the way it locks into there, you kind of have to like hold it down and push it over that little metal bit there. So it just gets really annoying, kind of gets in the way. Now with that one annoying thing out of the way, let's go over all the details about this lens. So first off, when it comes to the sharpness on here, it's perfect in my mind. It's not gonna be that sandpaper gross sharpness that you get from modern autofocus lenses. Personally, I think a lot of those lenses are too sharp. It makes skin look like sandpaper. Whatever Thypoch did with this, even though it's incredibly sharp, it still is like a natural sharpness. Obviously, this is on a Leica camera. I do have some Leica lenses I absolutely love. These still don't touch Leica lenses, but they get really damn close. Still really incredibly sharp, even wide open. In my opinion, everybody's definition of sharp is totally different. With that, there is some chromatic aberrations on it. But again, I don't mind some subtle chromatic aberrations. I think it's very, very, very tasteful when it's subtle. One cool thing about the aperture ring on here, while we're talking about sharpness, there's a little tab down here. And if I click that tab over, we now have a declicked aperture. This is really cool. Personally, I don't know if I'd ever use this lens for video because it is so small. There's no focus gears or anything like that on there, so you can't put a focus motor on there or anything. But anyways, I'm gonna click that declicked, and now we're back to a clicked aperture. Now we got the details out of the way. Let me talk about how I've been using this lens. Let me first show it on the Fujifilm XT5, because I really, really, really love using this specific lens on Fuji cameras here. So as you can see, I'm putting an adapter on. This is a Fuji FX to Leica M mount. For some of you guys, this M mount might look kind of weird and different. Although weird looking mechanics on here, this is designed to work on rangefinder M mount bodies. Basically, when you focus with a rangefinder camera, you have optics in the actual rangefinder, and those mechanically have to link up with the optics on the lens. And so when you focus the lens, those have to communicate. And if any of those focusing mechanisms get like thrown off or anything like that, those two won't align and all your shots will be out of focus. That's why I got this guy up here. Again, we'll get into the M mount stuff here after we go over the Fuji stuff. What's beautiful about M mount though is if anybody who has done any filmmaking or have cinema lenses, there's a mount called PL. PL can be adapted to any camera, all the way down from micro four thirds, all the way up to, medium format, like my GFX or my Hasselblad cameras. And they can even be adapted to actual like film motion cinema cameras. That's a PL mount. An M mount, in my opinion, is the PL for stills photography, because you can adapt M mount almost to anything. Again, all the way from a micro four thirds camera, all the way up to a medium format camera. And for somebody who owns multiple systems and you don't need autofocus, I highly recommend investing into M mount. But anyways, this is on the Fujifilm X-T5. You guys can see this combo is brilliant. This is just a beautiful looking combo. And it's a beautiful combo to actually shoot with. Most of these cameras have focus peaking on them. And so when you go into manual focus mode, just turn on that focus peaking, and it's pretty brilliant to use on any camera. Again, we're wide open. So on this, you guys will be able to see how sharp this is and how much bokeh that you can get on this. So why I love this so much on the Fujifilm X-T5, this 28mm is essentially, it's like a 42mm, which is one of my favorite focal lengths. So personally, I love the look of a 28 on the Fujifilm cameras. But also just using manual focus lenses with Fujifilm cameras, it really connects with the photography experience. Now let me show you the other camera that I was using it on a lot. That'll be the Hasselblad X2D. See, this is the Hasselblad 907X. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. So you guys are gonna be able to already imagine how beautiful this camera is going to match with this lens here. The Hasselblad system uses leaf shutter lenses, and there's no physical shutter in their cameras. And so you have to use electronic shutter. So when you do that, you might lose a little bit of dynamic range, and you could get a lot of like jello type shots if you're not using them steadily. I'm gonna take a picture here, and you guys are gonna see the dramatic difference of the field of view between putting this lens on a medium format camera and a APS-C cropped camera. Now, the reason I was using this lens on this Hasselblad 907X and the X2D was for X-Pan work. So on the Hasselblad 907X and X2D, I go in my crop modes right here, and we have an actual X-Pan mode. For the most part, it's usable, but there's really heavy vignetting. F4, a lot of the vignetting disappears. And so I was actually shooting some X-Pan work with this setup here. I know talking about the way a lens and a camera looks, some people find douchey. For me though, that's part of the experience. I like dope looking stuff. I'm into fashion. I'm into expressing myself through textures and colors and all of that. So to me, it is part of the process for me. Now, the way I mainly have been trying to use this lens is on the Leica M11. So let me throw it back on there so you guys can see that. And let me clean up this desk a little bit here too. So we're back on my Leica M11. Now, why it took me so long to make this video, my eyes are getting old. These are actually prescription glasses that I use. The reason I wear light tinted prescriptions is I used to live on a motorcycle. I would literally go anywhere and everywhere on a bike. I would take solo motorcycle trips all the way to New Mexico, come back overnight, almost caught hypothermia. That's a story that I'll tell in the future. I would commute to LA a few times a week, which is about 60 to 80 miles, depending where I was going. I would do that a few times a week and lane split and everything. So anyways, light tinted prescriptions just allow me to ride all the way from morning into night, and I don't have to change out my glasses or worry about leaving my glass behind or anything like that. So they just kind of live on my face. But anyways, when using a rangefinder like this, it's actually really hard to try to see all the frame lines when you have glasses on. I would have to take my glasses off, and I could see the full 28mm frame guides in here. But even that was just a little bit difficult. This lens, a 28mm on a rangefinder system, is a struggle for me to use. And it's kind of proven to me that I kind of suck at using a 28mm lens because it's so wide, and I'm used to doing portraits, and you have to get closer and everything. So when it comes to fashion and all that kind of stuff, I have used this lens a lot, and I absolutely love the way that it looks. Because again, we're getting all that vintage lens design, and so we're getting a lot of juice and character. And then when using a rangefinder on a photo shoot or just in general, it kind of forces you to treat it like film, whether it's a film or digital camera. Because you can't go off and just like shoot like crazy and just ba and just kind of be lazy. You have to actually put a lot of intention behind the shot. Now, while I'm finally able to get around to making this video and doing a more concise opinion on this lens here, is because of this. This is the Leica VisiFlex 2. This basically allows you to do a digital viewfinder on here. What's beautiful about the M11, like look guys, I immediately still went for the traditional rangefinder setup on here. So what's special about the Leica M11, this is why I was told, I'm pretty sure this is true. Maybe it's not, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but you know, all sensors and cameras, it's not just the sensor that you can like poke and touch and everything. There's glass and stuff in front of that sensor. I was told that the sensor glass on the M11 is like half the thickness that's traditionally on mirrorless cameras. And what that helps with is resolving more sharpness when it comes to vintage lenses or even lenses like this that are designed around, you know, vintage designs. But with modern optics, you're gonna get better sharpness edge to edge. Again, I don't care about edge to edge sharpness when it comes to setups like this. This is more for my spirit and my soul to, you know, have the photography experience. But when it comes to like the vintage lenses, you know, some of those lenses do have incredibly soft edges, and that can get a little bit distracting. So they tend just to like look better on the M11. I don't know what it is. So it must be that glass. I don't know. But you can get that 3D pop off of this setup here without it looking like sandpaper. A lot of the more vintage M-mount lenses, they stop at 0.7 minimum focus. Their minimum focus isn't that great because that's how close you can focus while using a rangefinder. What Thypoch did, which some of the more expensive modern Leica lenses, they go past that mark. So you'll feel it as I go to the 0.7 meter mark, the lens stops. There's some friction there, but then I could go past that. I could go to 0.4 meters. So let me just show you how big of a difference that makes when it comes to minimum focus. That shot right there was at 0.7 meters. And now I'll go to the 0.4. So whether you're going to use this lens on a Leica M-mount body or adapting it to something else, that's really freaking amazing that Thypoch included that into the lens design. And then obviously, you know, I'm able to adapt this to my Leica MP, which is my Leica film camera, which is just amazing. The fact that I'm able to throw this onto a film camera, I then throw it onto a digital camera and then adapt it to any other camera and get that film experience across the board. That's amazing. And that's why I love this Thypoch simera 28mm so much. So shout out to Thypoch to send this out to me. Apologies that I've had it for so long, but I just been using it so much. You know, I was struggling with it with the Leica M11 purely because of my own eyeballs. You know, this VisualFlex 2 kind of saved it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy this, a more simple video. Let me know if you guys are cool with me doing more simple videos like this and not just going overboard and just going crazy with it and everything. But yeah, I'll have a B&H affiliate link in the description if you guys want to check it out, buy one. I don't know. I really don't care. Again, you don't have to buy this if you want to get this experience. You can just go out and buy a vintage lens even if you want to. The pricing on vintage lenses are just blowing up now because everybody's catching on to them. If you're somebody who wants the vintage look, but you want all the modern performance and technology and craftsmanship, this is how you're going to get that. Yeah, that's it. All right.